Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and I'm here today to talk to you about my TBR for Galaxyathon. Creating a TBR for a readathon that's not a readathon I host? Wow, who is she? If you're not familiar with my channel, I used to do a lot of readathons. In fact, back in the day, there was a point where there was 1 week where I think I was doing 3 different readathons that week. But as the years have progressed, it's gotten down to the point where I only find myself doing readathons that I personally host, which, hi, if you've never seen me before, I host the Queer Lit Readathon. We have major rounds every June and December, and then we also have prompts throughout the year as well, because you should read queer all year. However, when I was putting together my bingo board from hell for 2025, I decided that I needed to do some readathons that were not hosted by me, so here we are. That being said, if you know about any readathons coming up this year that you think I would enjoy, please let me know about them down in the comments below. But let's get on to this readathon. This readathon is Galaxyathon, and it is hosted by the Brightside Girl, who I will obviously tag down below. This one is being hosted over 2 weeks, from March 3rd to March 16th. And this one's about reading your space books, your sci-fi books, which is a genre that I used to read a lot of. There was a point where my top 3 genres were fantasy, sci-fi, and contemporary, and for whatever reason I've just fallen off the sci-fi wagon for a while, so let's fix that. This challenge has 5 prompts for the people like me who like to have prompts so I can try to figure out what I'm reading based on what somebody else has told me to do. And those are Set on a Spaceship, Space Mystery, Astronaut on the Cover, Alien Encounter, and Space Word in the title. Now, because I pride myself on being efficient, I decided that the very first book I had to pick up for this would be a book that I already have to read for another project, because that just makes sense. And that means that the first book that I'll be reading is The Apollo Murders. This one is by Chris Hadfield, who is a Canadian astronaut. He's actually been to space. He's written books about that in the nonfiction realm, and I believe this is the first of his fiction writing. I've actually had this on my list of things to read for quite some time now, and now I'm finally going to get around to it because it's on my 40 before 40 TBR. If you've been here before, you know that I don't like to read synopses, but I'll read you a little bit of the synopses just in case you've never heard of this book before. 1973, a final top secret mission to the moon. 3 astronauts in a tiny spaceship a 250,000 miles from home, a 250,000 miles from help. This one will obviously check off the prompt of set in a spaceship. It will also check off the prompt of space mystery, I think. If there's a murder aspect to this, I'm assuming that it's not going to be readily apparent who did the murder. Hopefully. Otherwise, I might not take off this prompt. And then I would argue that it also has a space word in the title because Apollo is very much a space word. I know that that's not where the word originally came from. I know mythology is where that originally came from, but if you say the word Apollo, I immediately think of space missions. So that's my justification. The second book on my TBR also double covers the space word in the title, as well as it will also cover the alien encounter prompt, and that's The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. This is the 4th in this series. I've read the other 3 books years ago and then just never got around to reading this one. Actually, my boyfriend picked this one up and I think he finished the series before I did. I think he read this. I'm not entirely sure, actually. I'm gonna have to ask him. If you're not familiar with the Wayfarer series, what I really have liked about it in the past is it's about these found family type of dynamics, and I've really enjoyed those before, and I'm probably going to really enjoy it in this one as well. And I don't like to read synopses, so I just kind of scanned to the back of this book, and it did say, under the care of Ulu, an enterprising alien. So yes, there's definitely aliens. I figured there would be. There's aliens in the other ones. It's not just the human race in the other books in this series, so I figured this was a safe bet, but I double checked that it would be there. That means the one prompt I haven't talked about yet is Astronaut on the Cover, and for this I, again, went to my boyfriend's bookshelf because he primarily reads sci-fi and fantasy, and he kind of goes back and forth as a palette cleanser between the 2 genres. And I figured there would be something on this bookcase that I could pick up that has an astronaut on the cover that I actually would want to read. There was a Neil deGrasse Tyson book, but it was nonfiction and I don't really feel like reading it, so I put that back. And the 2 that I'll be choosing from are Martian Timeslip, which again also has another space word in the title. I think this is meant to be an astronaut. You tell me if you think it counts, but I think that's what this person is meant to be. This one is by Philip K. Dick, who's the guy who wrote the short story that eventually turned into Blade Runner, which means that this is a hell old book. I think this is from the 60s. I don't usually read anything this old generally. Yeah, published in 64. Because the vernacular of books of that age are not usually my thing, but I will give it a try. And or this other book, which definitely has an astronaut on the cover, The Stars Like Dust. Look at this guy. He's taken off a spacesuit or putting on a spacesuit, and in my eyes, that definitely makes him an astronaut. This one is by Isaac Asimov, which again, I've never read anything by this author, and this is an older book as well. Let's see how old you are. I've never read any Asimov before, but I know he's big in the genre, and this book was originally published in 1951. So again, I will potentially have the vernacular issues. The other things I'm worried about these are like sexism, so that's also why I don't usually pick up books of this age, but we'll find out if I am able to pick up one or both of them and see how I get on with them. But my priority when it comes to these books is basically the order in which I talked about them. This one is my biggest priority, and then this one, and then one or maybe both of these depending on how I get on with them. What are you going to read for Galaxyathon? Let me know about it down below, or let me know about a readathon coming up that I should definitely make a TBR for and participate in. Because like I said, I'm trying to do 5 different readathons that are not my own readathons this year, so I need some help. If you want to hear me talk about literally over 1,500 books, the playlist for my weekly entertainment wrap-ups is always linked down below. I've been doing it for over 8 years now, so there's a lot of books on there. While you're checking that out, in the description, you can also hit that subscribe button if you feel so inclined. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!